Now, I want you to listen to this passage because I've got to show you something here. Again, this is very important. The Bible says that the disciples came to Jesus in Matthew 24, verse 5 and said, "What will be the sign of your coming and the end of the world?" Matthew 24:29 says, "Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they'll see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Now, what is the sign of the Son of Man in heaven? All right. Hippolytus, who was an early church father, said in his discourse on the end of the world, quote, "The sign of the cross will arise from the east even unto the west, in brightness exceeding that of the sun, and shall announce the advent of the manifestation of the judge, who is Christ." Constantine, the emperor of Rome, had a dream of a cross in the sky, and he heard the words, "By this," or saw the words, "By this conquer." And he had the cross placed on the top of his shield, and he won the battle at Milvian Bridge and became the emperor of the West. And so eventually what happened was that they put the cross on the standards instead of the Roman eagle, and then the Chi Rho, which was the two Greek letters that became the abbreviation for the name of Christ, was eventually placed on the Roman standards, and that became popular, of course, in the Roman Church. And eventually the sign of the cross replaced all the other emblems of Rome after Constantine saw this sign. Here's what's important. I got to go through this real quick. There are three crosses in heaven. Listen to me very carefully. First of all, there is the sign of the Southern Cross. It's the smallest of 88 modern constellations. It gradually was lowered below the European horizon. It was seen in Athens in 1000 BC, but it became so low in the sky that by 400 AD it was never seen above the Greek horizon. It can be seen all year long in the country of Australia because of where Australia sits. But here's what's important. The Southern Cross was last seen on the horizon in the time of Christ, and then it dipped below the horizon about the time of Christ's crucifixion. Now, it didn't happen emblems of Rome after Constantine saw this sign. Here's what's important. I got to go through this real quick. There are three crosses in heaven. Listen to me very carefully. First of all, there is the sign of the Southern Cross. It's the smallest of 88 modern constellations. It gradually was lowered below the European horizon. It was seen in Athens in 1000 BC, but it became so low in the sky that by 400 AD it was never seen above the Greek horizon. It can be seen all year long in the country of Australia because of where Australia sits. But here's what's important. The Southern Cross was last seen on the horizon in the time of Christ, and then it dipped below the horizon about the time of Christ's crucifixion. Now, it didn't happen instantly, but that's where it gradually began to go. Number two is called the Grand Cross. On August the 11th through the 18th, 1999, all planets except Pluto were either square or opposite of each other. Now, the Grand Cross is supposed to mark the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. The planets, listen to this, were in the emblem of the lion, the bull, the man, and the eagle. Now, by the way, the lion, the bull, and the man, and the eagle are the four emblems of the four living creatures around the throne of God. That would be Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio as far as the secular names are concerned. And so what happens is the planets form what's called a Grand Cross. And a Grand Cross, again, is considered to be a major sign of a shifting of time frames when it appears. And it happened in August recently, right before the year 2000. Here's the third sign. This is the one I got to show you. This is really tough here. There are numerous galaxies in the universe, and a galaxy is a mixture of gases and stars. It's what's called the Whirlpool Galaxy, and that galaxy was discovered about the time America was getting its independence. If you take the Big Dipper, there's 7 stars in the Big Dipper, and actually the North Star is above the edge of the cup on the Big Dipper. That's the brightest star in the heaven. And you can see in the handle of the Big Dipper, right below it there, is what's called the Whirlpool Galaxy, 37 million light years away from us. The Hubble telescope did a picture of the center of the galaxy, of the Whirlpool Galaxy, and let me show you, this is an actual picture of what they found. It is actually a black hole with dust and gases that form in the center in the shape of a cross. And that's not a retouched photograph, that's the actual photograph right there. So you have 3 crosses in the heaven. The Southern Cross, you have the formation of the planets forming the Grand Cross, and you just had a cross formed in the center of the Whirlpool Galaxy. My conception is signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Isn't that interesting?